The weather is so nice today. I'm sure this won't be a big deal.
A 3-second long lapse in judgment can burn up an entire mountain, which will take 100 years to recover. We can protect these lush forests if you follow these guidelines. First, do not bring flammable materials to the mountains. Second, do not cook or camp in the mountains. Third, do not litter cigarette butts. Your small actions are the first step towards protecting the beautiful forest. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM 부산영어방송.
Want to be a friend of BFM 부산영어방송? You can chat with BFM through our Kakao Talk service. You can share your messages and photos through Kakao Talk, and you can easily become BFM's Kakao friend by searching BFM through the Find a Friend option. Come share and chat with us at BFM anytime, anywhere for free. Don't forget to add BFM 부산영어방송 to your Kakao friends list.
Man, I haven't got a chance. I call him.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
It is graduation season here in Korea. That's across all schools, from things like kindergarten to elementary school, middle and high school, and for those who choose to go the route, college as well. What do we usually see at graduations? Well, these days, definitely lots of flowers, maybe a few, plush toys like stuffed animals, and then the endless photo taking as students say goodbye to their peers, their friends, their teachers. For parents, maybe some tears are shed, or maybe just a little bit teary-eyed as they look back on their kids' academic career. In days past, the meal of choice on graduation day, I hear, was typically jjajangmyeon. These days, the menu choices are probably more varied. For those of you who have family members graduating, congratulations. For everyone else, which of the many graduations were meaningful to you? Which was the one that really stood out to you, the one you still remember? So think about that. I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Tuesday, February 3rd on BEFM 부산영어방송. Good morning, Wavers. I hope you are all doing well. And so, yes, it's February. I hear these days some schools have graduations held in January. So I know that some of you already probably celebrated, but many of them are still in February. I actually have one coming up this Friday as well. Yesterday, I ordered the flowers. I was very specific. I need the flowers of this color plus, the wrapping. So I gave the florist a visual, and she's like, oh, I can do that. I was like, okay, I'll pick them up Friday. So I'm done. The flowers have been ordered. And then now I just have to figure out where we are going to eat, because that's very important, right? Right after graduation, the ceremony, everybody goes out to lunch. Well, the thing is this, graduating from high school, maybe going to university, finding a job. This has long been kind of the usual trajectory for young people, especially here in South Korea, because Korea has some of the world's highest 4-year college attendance rates at 79% from regular, and I air quotes, meaning a non-elite or vocational high schools last year, so almost 80%. But this equation may be coming under question in the face of the tough job market. According to a private education institution, the 9 technical universities in Seoul saw a 25% increase in its regular admissions applications. And the competition rate also jumped from 10 to 1 to 15 to 1. For the students, it seems to have been a practical decision in consideration of the near-frozen job market for young people. Last year, the employment rate for graduates of technical universities was 70.9% on average, which is far higher than the 61.9% for graduates of four-year universities. So this comes as 428,000 young people have been just taking time off, meaning not actively looking for jobs or are training or studying either. And this is a structural issue as the job market has been drastically cutting down on entry-level jobs. And this phenomenon has been seen in other countries as well. It's not just for South Korea. For example, in the U.S., college enrollment has declined by around 2 million students from the peak of 2010 to 2023. While there were demographical changes, a survey also found that 56% of Americans believed a college degree is not worth the cost due to high debt and lack of specific job skills. And by the way, I mean, we all collectively talk about the tuition hikes here in Korea. Have you seen the tuitions in the States? Per year, some of the top schools or the private schools, it's like $100,000 for tuition, room and board. For 1 year, that's a lot. Let's bring it back to South Korea. One government data from yesterday shows that those without four-year university degrees get paid only 70% of the wages that someone with a four-year university degree does. Young people, they may be looking for practical options, but these are the realities to consider and work on as well. Because if the numbers are saying, well, on average, you're going to get paid more if you do graduate from a four-year versus a technical school, but there aren't any jobs available. What are we to do? I don't know. So that is what we've been talking about. And once again, to all the families celebrating any graduation, even from 어린이집, that's graduation too. Congrats to all of you. And now it's time for a text topic. This is very much related to a story coming on later on. What is the ideal size for your dream home? Meaning, how big, literally, and also how many rooms do you ideally want in your home? 자, 내가 가장 살고 싶은 이상적 평수는? 갑자기 200평? Yeah, I know 제곱미터 쓰지만 아직, in Korea, I don't know, in my mind, I still do the 평. And then I got to convert, right? If you see it, in the meters squared meters. But I don't know, is it the size of the home or maybe where it is and also how many rooms? I think I need still minimum 4 rooms because we have so many people. Everybody wants their own room. But anyhow, I want to hear from you. Send in your thoughts to BFM's live stream, live chat on YouTube. And we're streaming live, right? Like I said, if you haven't checked us out, I highly recommend you do because it's so much fun. You get the visuals and you get the chat going on. So that's a lot of fun. From your phone, pound 9050, shop 9050. That's going to cost you 100 won. You can also reach me for free on Kakao Talk. So got to find our account first. Type in BEFM, 부산영어방송. Once you find us, add us as a friend. And then you can send in your messages and photos too. You can tune into Morning Wave in Busan through the radio, 90.5 or 103.3 FM if you're in Busan. You can watch on YouTube live right now. You can watch again later. We're available on the BFM app, 팟빵 app as well. Both are free and easy to download. So we have our first message that I'm going to read. And it goes like this. 넓으면 넓을수록 좋아요. 마당도 수영장도 달라 사달라. Oh my gosh. So who's this from? You know who it's from, right? 꼭 얘기 안 해도, You know who it's from, right? So she wants to live in a big house. The bigger the better, with a swimming pool, backyard. 한국 아니고 다시 미국으로 돌아가세요. 피디님. 네, 힘듭니다. 한국에서는. But I have a funny story, short story. When we first moved to Korea, because in California, many people do have like swimming pools and backyards and all that. So my kids were younger. We came to Korea and we, first lived in a villa. It was a spacious villa. I'm not going to complain about the size. Korean standards, it was big. But my oldest child started crying and saying, Mommy, are we poor? Where's the swimming pool? Where's our private backyard? And it was like culture shock. So I had to explain to him, sit down with him and say, the standard of living in Korea, most people live in an apartment. And so after he understood, he wiped the tears away and then went out and started riding his bike. He was fine. Anyhow, let's look at the lineup for today. We have Andrew coming up for Wave Sports. We have in hour number 2, Bonnie with Simply Sustainable. Our special interview today, we're going to be focusing on the extreme weather because we have these snowstorms and then we have the extreme heat. What is going on? At the same time, in different parts of the world, we're going to tackle that. And of course, we have Jian coming in real soon for Now in Busan, Haley in hour number 1 for news, and hour number 2, Waga Tea Time. I'll be back with news overview. It's now 7:09, and this is News Overview. Kospi dips over 5% to below 5,000 points. South Korea's benchmark Kospi dropped by more than 5% on what some market watchers are calling Black Monday, as a rapid offloading prompted the Korea Exchange to issue a sell-side circuit breaker for 5 minutes around noon. Prime Minister says Seoul and Washington making progress over tariff. Prime Minister Kim Min-seok said yesterday that South Korea and the U.S. are making progress on tariff-related issues, thanks in part to the direct phone line he established with U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance last month. Kim Gun-hee appeals 20-month sentence in corruption trial. Former First Lady Kim Gun-hee has appealed the 20-month prison sentence for accepting bribes in the form of a Chanel bag and a Graf necklace in exchange for favors from the Unification Church. Preliminary candidate registration begins for June 3rd elections. The preliminary candidate registration for the June 3rd local elections begins nationwide today for mayoral, gubernatorial, and education superintendent races. U.S. and India reached a trade deal after Trump-Modi call. U.S. President Donald Trump announced that he agreed to a trade deal with India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, where the U.S. will lower tariffs on goods from India from 25% to 18%. This was News Overview. It's time for Now in Now in Jian. Now in Busan with Jian. She's in the studio with me. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good, aside from the fact that I put you in the title of our segment. But hey, I want to know about your ideal home size. Maybe if you can give us how big or how small, plus how many rooms you would ideally like.
Oh, I mean, I moved to Busan and I'm living in a studio, so-called one room, literally a one room.
Literally.
Yes. It's cozy, compact. I like it, but I can't understand why there are so many house chores every single day.
For the studio.
For one single room. And if so, I would rather try living a way bigger house with so many rooms. I don't know. But I think it's more about like whom to live with, not about the size or the rooms. So, I don't know.
So sweet. Making us blush first thing in the morning. But that's true. You know, it's home is what you make of it, right?
Right.
And the people matter. Well, we're going to jump into our local news. Gia and I hear Busan kicked off a major road project yesterday.
That's correct. Yesterday, on February 2nd, Busan held a groundbreaking ceremony at Hope Park in Gangseogu District for the elevated road project linking Gadok Bridge and Songjeong Interchange on local Route 58, officially marking the start of construction. The project centers on converting the existing at-grade road into an elevated roadway, which is expected to make a remarkable improvement in traffic flow. By elevating the road, traffic levels will be separated, which will not only ease bottlenecks on this stretch, but also create a safer and more stable driving environment overall.
I see. So what's the goal of this new elevated road?
The elevated road is a key corridor designed to handle the expected traffic surge from the Busan New Port and the new Ga덕do Airport, which has started its construction. It will improve access to the airport, ease vehicle flow between Noksan Industrial Complex and the Gangsa residential area, and reduce peak hour congestion. By replacing the previously crowded surface roads with an elevated structure, logistics and passenger movement to and from the airport and port will become much more efficient.
I see. So we look forward to this road being completed. Next up, let's hear about Yangsan City conducting this comprehensive railway system test. So what was this for?
So that was the final verification stage before opening the Yangsan Urban Railway. The test will run until October to check overall safety and operations through 3 steps: preliminary inspections, facility verification tests, and trial runs. During this period, train performance and the integration of key systems will be tested under real operating conditions.
I see. I assume, though, that more thorough checks are still needed, though.
Of course. That's exactly why officials will examine the stability of operating procedures and control systems through repeated runs.
Okay.
Citizens will be invited to ride as well during the trial operation stage, so their feedback can be collected and reflected to further improve service quality and safety.
And can you remind us of the details about the Yangsan Urban Railway?
Of course, the railway is a driverless light rail line connecting Nopo in Busan's Geumjeonggu district to Bukjeong in Yangsan, over 11 kilometers with 7 stations. Nopo Station links to Busan Metro Line 1 and Yangsan Jungang Station connects to Line 2. It is expected to serve as a key line connecting Yangsan and Busan, making the travel easier and more convenient.
All right, thanks for the update on that. Moving on, Busan has announced a new city development plan. So what is this about?
Busan City is implementing its 6th basic plan for digital innovation to strengthen competitiveness in an era shaped by, as all we know, AI, data, and cloud technologies.
Right.
The plan is a statutory framework under the Electronic Government Act and the city's basic ordinance on information policy with the vision of people-centered Busan.
So it sounds real ambitious.
It is. The city plans to enhance AI capabilities in public administration and services soon, while moving toward a fully digital innovation city by 2030.
Yes.
The strategy aims to integrate advanced technologies across governance, industry, and everyday urban life, positioning Busan as a leading digital hub in the region.
So what's included in this plan?
The plan focuses on quickly strengthening AI use in public services and administration and gradually expanding digital transformation across the city to create a fully digital innovation ecosystem by 2030.
All right. Thanks for letting us know about this new city development plan. And on to our latest and last bit of news. Good news for Busan Port. So let's hear about it.
Yes, Busan Port set a new record for container volumes last year, even as global trade faced challenging conditions. In 2025, the port handled about 25 million TEU, up 2.0% from the previous year. This marked an all-time high and extended its growth streak for a third consecutive year. This came even as global trade faced uncertainty from protectionist policies, geopolitical risks, and ongoing U.S.-China tensions, which slowed growth in import and export cargo. Busan, however, managed to offset that slowdown by strengthening its role in transshipment.
Yes, and what drove that growth?
Transshipment volume increased 4.4% to 14.1 million TEU, making up more than half of the port's total cargo and strengthening Busan's spot as the world's second largest transshipment hub.
Yes.
The growth is closely tied to port digital transformation. This includes the TSS real-time transfer system linking terminal data and the AI and blockchain-based Port Eye monitoring platform. Both improve cargo handling speed, accuracy, and on-time performance. These efficiency gains have encouraged major global shipping alliances to reorganize routes around Busan, and the port is now targeting 25.4 million TEU this year.
Well, let's see if we can reach that goal. Thank you for all the local news, and we'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Jian.
Thank you.
All right, I'll be back with your traffic and weather. It is now 7:19. Here is your traffic report. First up, let's talk about the Dongseol overpass. It is congested from Bumnagor ramp to Gaegeum. It's backed up on Luno Samsungdae from Myeongji underpass to Shinho Bridge. There's traffic on Nakdong-Namno from Gangso Police Station to Seongsan Three-Way intersection. It's also slow moving on Baegang-Gwanmunro from Baegang Tunnel Ogui intersection to the tunnel. It is currently minus 3 degrees Celsius in Busan under clear skies with a daytime high expected to go up to 9 degrees. Busan City under a special dry weather report. Elsewhere in the country, morning lows quite chilly, right around minus 10 degrees, but it will get warmer progressively throughout the day, maybe up to 3 or even up all the way up to 10 degrees depending on where you are. Strong gusts of wind on the east coast across Gangwon and Gyeongbuk. This was your traffic and weather.
Korea Broadcast Advertising Corporation, Kobaco, supports your broadcast advertising production costs. This program is open to innovative small and medium-sized enterprises, offering up to 45 million won for TV ads and 3 million won for radio ads. Applications are open from January 22nd to February 23rd at 6 p.m. For more details, visit the Kobaco website.
It is time for Top Stories. Haley's here for this. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm trying to enunciate. Keep on I feel like waggling already, but it's only hour number 1. Text topic time though. Ideally, how big do you want to be, or how small? Like, what's the size of your ideal home? Plus, how many bedrooms?
I mean, with my family right now, we have 4 people living together. We would like to have, we have 3 bedrooms right now. I mean, we're not, we are complaining. You know what? We're complaining. We would like an extra bedroom, or I would actually like an extra crevice in the living room because I want one of those.
Crevice. Like a nook and cranny.
Like a nook because it's very specific. I want one of those, the clothes styling, the steam, that device. 의류 관리기, and we don't have a crevice. We have literally run out of crevices or wall space to put an extra appliance. But, for like our broadcasting, our job stuff, like we wear blazers, the dry clean, semi-dry clean only stuff.
Right.
I would just like I would like a crevice. I'm a simple girl. I just want like a couple feet by couple feet of space. But then when I do get my own place, I mean, who knows what deity knows when that's going to be. But 25 평 to like 30 something 평. Because I'm going to be realistic. Am I going to clean? Do I now? Will I ever? I don't know. I don't have that much faith in myself.
I've seen photos of your place.
I've
it's
seen
a nice
photos.
Place.
It's a nice place. It used to be a nice place until I started living there.
Cluttered in certain areas.
Yeah, and vomited my stuff all over that place.
Right.
But yeah, I would like a wall of bookshelves. I would like a TV-less living room. Instead, have a wall of bookshelves, a decorated bookshelf.
Wow.
And yeah.
Yeah. So I like the details.
I got dreams.
But I have to say, like the whole space, the spaciousness of one's home, it is different, I think, from like the Korean mentality versus like in the States, like everything is like bigger and like everybody wants a big house, with a big swimming pool and a big yard.
But then I would also not like a yard because again, like mowing, leaves, and the,
you're like thinking about all the work.
Yeah, the gardening and the weeds. I'm like, and the HOA is going to be all over you
if you don't.
Oh my God. Yeah, we're going to have words.
Well, we're going to jump into our top story today. President Lee Jae-myung has mentioned a sugar levy on multiple occasions, prompting a public discussion on this controversial tax.
Right. So President Lee Jae-myung has mentioned this sugar levy. So that would be 설탕부담금 on 5 different occasions, actually. The latest on his social media earlier this month. So he stated that the intent of the sugar levy is to use the money that would come from excessive sugar usage to preventive medicine and other forms of treatments.
Okay.
And that he was looking for this deep, level-headed discussion over the potential levy.
Yes. So what exactly is a sugar levy? I'm like,
right.
Like
so it is really important, according to the president, to distinguish that from a tax.
Okay.
So taxes, we know what taxes are. They're
Yes.
broad, while a levy is specific. They're much more narrow, often temporary. They're charges imposed on a particular purpose or a legal seizure of assets.
Okay.
And this, by the way, is on advice from the World Health Organization. Way back in 2016, the global health authorities recommended 가당 음료세, which is basically taxes applied to sugar-sweetened beverages.
Okay.
And these are actually in effect across 120 countries, including the UK, France, and Mexico. And in some countries, it has been effective. So for example, in the UK, these sugar taxes reduced the sugar content in sodas by 47%. And very specific, but the obesity rate for girls in 6th grade went down by 8%.
That is not insignificant. But what is the situation like here in South Korea? Are we at a point where really, do we need a sugar levy?
Right. So how much sugar are we consuming?
Okay.
Well, according to the Ministry of Food and Drug Safety, South Korea on average, and of course this is average, consumed 58.3 grams of sugar per day.
Oh.
So what does that mean? We're actually slightly over the WHO recommendation of 50 grams per day. But again, a little over the recommended amount, but not horrible, right? But how? Where? What kind of sugar? Because all sugars are not created equal. You know, that sugar from a cola drink isn't the same as the sugar from my apple.
Oh, right.
Right. So we consume over 60% of our sugar through processed foods. So that's not great. And obesity has been going up as well. And the socioeconomic costs from obesity came to 15.6 trillion won, and that's actually higher than the cost from alcohol and cigarettes.
Oh, so how would a sugar levy be implemented in practice?
Of course, keep in mind that this is still in the policy discussions phase, but Rebuilding Korea's lawmaker Kim Sun-min introduced a bill that would levy up to 300 won per liter on sodas and other artificially sweetened drinks. And a Seoul National University survey showed that people were actually in favor of adding taxes or levies on drinks, frozen treats like ice cream, popsicle sticks, and snacks or pastries.
Well, why would some people be against this? Because in theory, it sounds like, well, isn't it better for our health?
Of course, absolutely. And everybody should be eating whole foods and, organic if possible. But foods are actually one of the simplest indicators for inequality. Because if you are in a lower income group, you are less likely to be able to afford to eat healthy or whole foods.
Right.
And that could be due to constraints on money or time. If you're working multiple jobs, I'm not going to have time to meal prep, and stuff like that.
Sure.
Or you could be in a food desert. This is less of a problem in South Korea than in geographically larger countries, but food deserts are basically just really simply put where fresh produce isn't readily available.
Right.
So sugar, it does go into all kinds of food, so this could also raise overall food prices.
Ooh.
And that we don't want.
We don't want that. And somebody mentioned, Nemi, the 두종국 그러면 비싸지겠네요. It's going to get more expensive.
이미.
It's already expensive. And there's a lot of, it's sweet.
It
I'm
is
sure
very sweet.
The sugar content is pretty high. Well, we're going to move on to another major economic issue, and it's very much related to our text topic, real estate.
Right. So homes located on the south side of Han River, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be like Gangnam.
Yes.
Well, they have collectively reached a record high.
Okay.
This is according to KB Kookminbank's data. The small and mid-sized apartment, thus our text topic, south of the river exceeded 1.8 billion won, and that is 18억. Yeah. And again, this isn't for like Gangnam regions, which we refer to as Gangnam-gu, 서초구, and Songpa-gu. This is plus the other 11, or excuse me, rather at that point, 9 districts that are just on the south side of the river in Seoul.
Wow.
This was for the month of January. So we're talking about like Gangseo, Yeongdeungpo, Dongjak, etc. These apartments, and we're not talking like spacious.
How big are we talking for 18억?
25평, 25평, 85 square meters, and under, by the way, and under. Yeah, so let that sink in.
Okay.
And of course, this is the highest that price has ever been.
Everybody collective sigh. Okay, so what's the reason behind such a jump?
So this is like an effect or maybe a side effect of the government's real estate crackdowns. So the convention in the market right now is for buyers going for that one very smart home investment. In Korean, we call that the 똘똘한 한 채. So these tend to be smaller units with lower, and this is all relative, lower prices compared to your like 49, 56, whatever pounds. And people can get more in terms of mortgage for these units.
Okay.
So this is also then dragging up prices on the other side of the river, the north side of the river, which is supposed to be slightly cheaper, but to balance out the market. So apartments, same size, 25 or smaller, 평, north of the river, that went up to 1.5 billion won.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a lot of ucks there. 너무 비싸네요. 서울은 안 되겠다. 자, real estate, it has it's not just a hot topic amongst us, but like a hot button political issue as of late.
Right. That's because President Lee Jae-myung has been doubling down on, these cutting off, severing speculative real estate via ending the suspension on the capital gains tax for multiple homeowners.
Right.
Basically, starting May 9th, people who own 3 or more homes, they could be taxed up to 80% on the gains they've made by selling their apartment. So basically, no extra profit. So he wrote on social media that this is a process of normalizing the abnormal and warned those who are against the policy to not try to unfairly outsmart the government.
Okay.
And he also called on these real estate speculative practices actions that can ruin a country.
And these comments were not taken too kindly by the opposition party.
Right. So there was actually some verbal sparring going on yesterday. The
Okay.
People Power Party, or the PPP, criticized the president's comments as being sensationalist, shaking up public opinion, and inappropriate for the president. So the party spokesperson Choi Bo-yoon said that the president was fear-mongering via his comments and criticized that such policy corners freedom to choose one's own home and form assets as objects of a crackdown, and these methods cannot rein in housing prices.
Right.
And then President Lee Jae-myung hit back, and he actually linked this article with Che's comments and said, quote, how about you stop defending these speculative acts that try to destroy the country?
Okay, and then 청와대 followed suit, making it clear that this tax suspension will end on May 9th.
Right, so 청와대 spokesperson Kang Yu-jung said that the suspensions of the capital gains tax will definitely and undoubtedly end on May 9th.
Yes.
But she did draw the line at the speculation that's been going on whether there will be extra measures like reforming the property tax, 보유세. Kang said that the president thinks of implementing or reforming the property tax as a final straw, the last resort measure, and that the top office will use all other measures in its arsenal before considering that.
Okay, so Lots of things being said. Now we're going to turn to some international news, to a clan or family that we usually don't see in the news, the Norwegian royal family.
Right. So unlike maybe their British counterparts, the Norwegian royal family often flies under the radar, at least for South Korean news, until this week. And it's nothing for anything good.
Right.
So the Norwegian royal family is facing two major scandals. So quick family tree.
Sure.
It's a constitutional monarchy. King Harold V and Queen Sonja. And like, again, in the UK, this is a constitutional monarchy. And the royal family, they have more or less of a ceremonial role.
Yes.
So the heir apparent, 왕세자, is Crown Prince Haakon. And when he got married to the now Crown Princess, Mette Marit, in 2001, that was actually quite a splash. A modern Cinderella story because she was a former waitress and she also had a 4-year-old son from a previous relationship that was quite shaky. And she also admitted to previous drug abuse and history of heavy partying.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Interesting. And it's her son from her previous relationship that you just mentioned that is the subject of the first scandal.
Right. So this is Marius Borg Høiby. He's of course, not in line to the throne. He's not a prince, but he has made some royal appearances. So he is, and trigger alert, we were talking about sexual abuse.
Yes.
So he is on trial for rape of 4 women, allegedly. Violence, drug charges, and more, actually several dozen. So the palace stresses that Marius is not a public figure and only appears with the royal family on special occasions.
Okay.
But his stepfather, the crown prince, addressed the issue where he said that the family loves their son, he's an important part of the family, but also expressed sympathies for the women who are going through what they're going through.
Yes, and then the crown princess herself is now at the center of controversy.
In the Epstein files.
Oh.
And this is the crown princess, so Mette Marit. So she is featured in there hundreds of times, revealing that, well, she's likely to be the future queen of Norway, spent 4 days at the Epstein house in Miami back in January of 2013. There are also email exchanges between the princess and Epstein of very warm nature. They're very friendly.
Okay.
So Mette Marit admitted to poor judgment via a statement, and that she regrets having any contact with Epstein, that it's simply embarrassing, and expressed deep sympathy and solidarity with the victims.
Okay, well, now we know why they're in the news for great reasons. But thank you for going over the top stories. We'll check in with you in hour number 2. Thank you, Haley.
See you soon.
It's time for a song break. So here it is. This is Bad Day by Daniel Powder.
Where is the moment we needed the most? You kick up the leaves and the magic is lost. Tell me your blue skies fade to gray. Tell me your passion's gone away, and I don't need no carrying on. You stand in the line just to hit a new low. You're faking a smile with the coffee to go. 'Cause you had a bad day, you take it one down, you sing a sad song just to turn it around. You say you don't know, you tell me don't lie, you work at a smile and you go for a ride. You had a bad day, you see what you like, and how does it feel? One more time, you had a bad day, you had a bad day.
Wave Sports. Andrew's here. It's time for Wave Sports.
Tuesday ASMR edition.
So how are you?
Doing fine.
Why are we whispering?
I don't know. Lots of secrets going on in this place.
Are there?
No, I wish there were. Hey, if there are, please, people, I love some gossip. Give it to me.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, I want to hear about your ideal home. How big or how small? How many bedrooms?
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I mean, before I moved to Korea, maybe a little bit different.
Yeah.
I wanted to say something. I know we have some American listeners and whatnot. So when Haley was explaining about how big those places are in Seoul and Gangnam and whatnot.
Yeah.
So like when she was saying 25 Pyeong, that's around like 900 square feet.
That's
not that big in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, like
right?
from
So when you think of your typical 3-bedroom bungalow, right? I don't even know if that word is used anymore. That's around 1,300 square feet, which is around 37 Pyeong.
Yes.
So it's, I don't know. In Canada, we also use square feet, even though we're in the metric system. We don't. Yes, I don't know. There's a whole rabbit hole you could go down with.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, for height, weight, distance, these things, everything's different. I don't know. But for
Really?
me, but for me, I would say, I don't know, living here in Korea, my house definitely isn't small. I have an okay sized house. I'm quite content with that. Maybe an extra bedroom, so make it, say, 4 bedrooms. But I believe I saw in the chat, I think it was Leslie that said the bigger the house, the more it costs to heat it.
Yes.
So, yeah, 100%.
So true.
I think that's definitely something I would have to think of. But if I was living back home and if I was living in the countryside and I had a wood fireplace or something.
Something a little roomier.
Now my brain's going into these other places. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. But I mean, like here in Korea, maybe a little bit bigger. But again, with that comes a price tag and I don't.
Oh, yeah. Your HOA fee, the monthly fees.
Yeah.
Goes up, definitely. My sister and I live in the same apartment, but different size homes.
Yes.
And like I always look at my bill and her bill. I'm like, why is mine so much higher? She goes, you have more people.
You're more.
And it's bigger. I was like,
It's bigger. And then you also get the sunlight in the morning. And then, everything comes into play.
Yes.
So
we're going to dive into some sports. So what do you
Yes.
have for us?
Winter Olympics.
Because they're literally right around the
A
corner.
few days away.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe the opening ceremonies we're going to talk about is on Friday. Actually, it's like 4 a.m. Saturday morning here in Korea. But things do get underway on I believe it's the 5th on Thursday. I think it's the women's hockey, maybe some curling prelims, and a couple other sports that have, there's more play in. It's not like they don't finish them in a day.
Sure.
So I think that's, why it happens. But yeah, so the 2026 Milan Cortina Winter Olympics officially begins this Friday, February 6th, officially, with a highly anticipated opening ceremony at the San Siro Stadium in Milan. So if anyone's wondering, how do I know that name? San Siro. It is the place where Inter Milan and Milan play football or soccer. So, it's an iconic stadium.
It is.
In the heart of Milan. So it'll be really interesting to see it in a different light, if you will, because, I've always seen it just for football or soccer.
Right.
So that aims to celebrate the spirit, culture, and unity of the games. Organizers have themed the production Armonia, which means harmony, highlighting togetherness, artistic expression, and the blending of Italian tradition and global Olympic ideals.
Right.
So it's I always enjoy watching. I don't know why I'm always thinking like something exciting is going to happen, like something different.
I love opening ceremonies.
But I think it's great.
Right.
It's a great way to kick everything off. And also, of course, there are some bigger name athletes and whatnot, but it's also a time for the maybe not so big, to be right out there in the center stage, which I think is awesome. All right. So, here in Korea, you're going to find it pretty much. I think there's probably 3 broadcasters that it'll be on. So it won't even be hard to find it on live TV if you want to wake up. And I believe I checked on a few of them. They'll have like the rerun, if you will, in the morning hours. So if you didn't see it, I mean, I can't see everyone waking up at 4 to watch it. But yeah, so interesting. So fans can expect a mix of world-class performances and historic moments, including appearances by artists such as Mariah Carey, Andrea Bocelli, and Laura Pausini, alongside Italy's own creative voices and cultural showcases that underscore the game. So this is like, there's always a bit of... they try to keep a bit of secret, of some of the performances, how much, there's going to be drone shows and these kind of things. So, it'll be interesting to see how everything goes down.
Sure. So looking forward to that. How is Team Korea expected to do this time around?
Yeah, so, every year there's a projected, we were hoping for this many medals or finish in this place. So, South Korea's largest winter delegation in over a decade has arrived in Italy and will compete on the biggest stage. So the Korean team, consisting of 130 members, that includes 71 athletes. And, you need other officials, coaches, these kind of people involved as well.
Sure.
They departed Seoul this week, bound for Milan. And I've seen some pictures online of people arriving. Also, there's a few people I watch or I follow that they're showing their kit, so they're unboxing. So they got the big suitcase and they're pulling out, the puffer jackets, the vests. There's really something to check out if you're interested in, the tech they're wearing at the games. So they're hoping for at least 3 gold medals and a top 10 overall finish. I think the 3 gold medals, knock on wood,
yes,
I think that's very achievable.
Yeah.
I think, with some of the sports they have lined up, I don't think that should be a big issue. Which with short track and long track speed skating, clear medal hopes, while snowboarding, actually the largest amount of athletes are in snowboarding. I think there's 11, I believe.
Yes.
Which was pretty cool. And Che Ga-on is probably the one who I'm the most excited to watch in snowboarding, the half pipe. It's always just something that, I don't know, that's just a sport where it's, it's high intensity and it's not very long. Meaning, like you're not like it's like me paying attention to hockey. It's like 2 weeks.
Right.
Come on now, all right. So we've talked about figure skater Cha Jun-hwan before the last couple of weeks. Also the short track team, which has some of the biggest names, and then the long track with Lee Na-hyun. We're looking at some really, really good opportunity here to come home with a gold in those and a top 10 finish. I think maybe depending on how other countries do, the top 10, possible. I think the 3 gold medals shouldn't be an issue at all.
Okay. Yeah. And by the way, we want to let our listeners and viewers know that the Olympics, the Winter Olympics, the Milano Cortina Games will be exclusively aired on JTBC. So public information that we need to share with all of you out there, because 단독이래요, 중계가 on JTBC, just to let you know. So if you want to check it out, go do that.
Right.
And of course, the Olympics. Not the only sport that will be stealing the spotlight this weekend, because it's that time.
Time for the big game.
Yeah.
All right. So it is Super Bowl weekend, where the Seattle Seahawks against my pick, not Cats. The New England Patriots are featuring, a compelling rematch between the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots. 2 franchises tied together by playoff history. They've met before, both of them kind of winning. It was pretty cool. Now, going into this, they both had the same record during the regular season, 14-3.
Yes.
Which, the Seahawks had to defeat the 49ers and your Rams, apologies, all right, where New England had some pretty gritty victories and low-scoring games against the Texans and the Broncos. It is their 12th Super Bowl appearance.
Wow.
And some people saying The possibility of another dynasty. Maybe not, but I'll take it. I'll take one.
What happened to your finger? Sorry.
This one?
Yeah.
Can anybody see that?
What is that?
That's I didn't realize I was going to be able to see that really well. Hockey. I get hit with a puck on Sunday. Yeah, I don't want to turn my hand this way because then people think like I'm flipping the bird here. But yeah, it was hockey on Sunday night.
I was just like, whoa, distracted by the purple finger. Yeah. I thought you had like dyed just your hair was just wet.
I had a student yesterday. They're like, teacher, were you using the ink pad a lot?
Right.
And I'm like,
like
yeah,
that.
no, yeah. That was Sunday night. It's feeling a lot better. But thanks for asking.
But hey, it's sports. Yeah, it's related. Go Seahawks.
And I played net. And I don't usually play net, and I won 12-4. Sorry, Bob. All right. So
go Seahawks.
No, not. Well, let's get to the halftime show because that's what a lot of people want to hear. And we have a clip right here featuring Bad Bunny.
3 days, the world will dance. That's Bad Bunny's promise as he promotes his halftime takeover.
I'm going to show our music, our culture.
This just released trailer for the Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show was shot entirely in Puerto Rico. It features diverse dancers of all ages. The message? Unity.
This is for everyone.
Yeah, so a highlight of the Super Bowl is always the halftime show, and people are pretty excited about this, for Puerto Rican superstar Bad Bunny set to headline it at, the halftime show at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, now becoming the first solo Latino and Spanish language artist to lead the performance. Now, the 3-time Grammy winner and global streaming icon has, said the show is for my people, my culture, and our history.
Okay.
And this also brings a little bit more spotlight to this because he, at the Grammys the other night, had some, comments that I'm staying out of politics on this one, but it, brought even more, eyes to the situation, and you get people out there who say, there's some people saying this or that about it, but I don't know. But it should be fun. But it's always, the halftime show, I feel, is more contested sometimes than the game itself. The people are arguing online about it, meaning like it's, this was terrible. This was
Kendrick
great.
Lamar was so good.
I thought it was.
I liked it.
I thought the one when they had all the West Coast guys.
Oh
with,
my gosh,
like
Snoop Dogg,
Dre, Eminem, and 50
I watched
Cent.
that like.
That was
10
pretty
times
amazing.
at least.
But yeah, so I mean, but you're not going to please everybody, but
of course.
It's cool. They're going down a different road here, and it should be fun. Now, I know we only have like a minute here to get to my last story.
Yes.
But it was the Australian Open over the past few weeks. Unfortunately, no Korean winning it. I don't think we expected that, but I just
was like, was that a surprise?
No. No, we had that guy that was a few years ago called the Professor.
Right,
he wore the white glasses. I forget his name. Apologies there, guy. But it was a thrilling finals weekend there, and it was Carlos Alcaraz made history in the men's singles by defeating Novak Djokovic, which Djokovic, I think he's ranked 4th in the world, but the guy just will not go away.
I know, because for a tennis player, he's getting up there.
Yeah.
For a tennis player, right?
And he's had some injuries. He's come back, and also some controversy of his own at this event. But yeah, the reason why he's kind of that Alcaraz is setting some records here, becoming the youngest man in the Open era to complete a career Grand Slam at just 22.
He's young.
Just pack it in.
I know,
retire,
seriously.
Go back to Spain.
I mean, some of the greats, they never even get a career Grand Slam. But I mean, at 22.
At 22.
Okay.
Pretty amazing. So that was on the men's side. And the women's side, Elena Rybakina captured the Australian women's singles crown in 3 sets, a win over world number 1, Aryna Sabalenka. So, both finals were interesting. They didn't, a lot of times the women's, it would be 2 sets and it's over. This went 3. That was awesome.
Yes.
Better for the game. Also, if you're paying that price for a ticket, I want to sit there for a while, enjoy my adult beverages and, cheer when I can and quiet when you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's great. But yeah, so it's always good. That kicks off the season, the first major of the season in tennis. And golf is also underway.
I know.
So we'll be talking about that in weeks to come.
Nelly Korda with her first win.
Unbelievable.
Yes. All right. Get well messages for you. Plus.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
But majority, everybody's saying go Seahawks. So there you have it.
Pats.
Wave sports. And we will talk to Andrew
See you, everyone.
next week. It's time to wrap up hour number 1. How about with this song, Dangerously by Charlie Puth, dedicated to Andrew for his finger. We'll be back at 8.
This is gonna hurt, but I blame myself first, 'cause I ignored the truth. Drunk off of that love, my head up, there's no forgetting you. You've awoken me, but you're choking me. I was so obsessed. Gave you all of me, and now honestly I got nothing left. I loved you dangerously. More than the air that I breathe. Knew we would crash at the speed that we were going. Didn't care if the explosion ruined me. Baby, I loved you dangerously. I love you dangerously. Usually I hold the power with both my hands tied behind my back. Look at how things change, 'cause now you're the train and I'm tied to the track. You've awoken me, but you're choking me. I was so obsessed. Gave you all of me, and now honestly I got nothing left. 'Cause I loved you dangerously. More than the air that I breathe. Knew we would crash at the speed that we were going. Didn't care if the explosion ruined me. Baby, I loved you dangerously. You took me down, 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 and kissed my lips with goodbye. I see it now, 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 now. It was a matter of time. You know, I know. There's only one place this can lead, but you are the fire, I'm gasoline. I love you, I love you, I love you, I loved you dangerously. Ooh, more than the air that I breathe.
km 이하 서행, 스쿠존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 참, 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전, 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
It's freezing outside. Let's crank up the heat.
Wait, you don't have to. Lowering the temperature by just 2 degrees can save a lot of energy.
2 degrees? That small change really matters?
You'd be surprised. If 10% of Korean households lower their heating by just 2 degrees, the effects are like planting about 350,000 trees a year.
That's magical. Then I'll just bundle up instead.
Smart move. Try wearing some thermal underwear or warm socks.
Plus, when you go out, don't turn the heater off completely. Set it to away mode or 외출 mode.
That way, it uses less fuel than turning it off and reheating the whole place later. Turn down the heat, but not your warmth.
This campaign is brought to you by BEFM, Busan 영어방송.
Want to be a friend of BFM 부산영어방송? You can chat with BFM through our Kakao Talk service. You can share your messages and photos through Kakao Talk, and you can easily become BFM's Kakao friend by searching BFM through the Find a Friend option. Come share and chat with us at BFM anytime, anywhere for free. Don't forget to add BFM 부산영어방송 to your Kakao friends list.
Man, I haven't got a chance. I call him.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
It is now 8 o'clock. It's time for Spotlight News. Kospi dips over 5% to below 5,000 points. South Korea's benchmark Kospi dropped by more than 5% on what some market watchers called Black Monday, as a rapid offloading prompted the Korea Exchange to issue a sell-side circuit breaker for 5 minutes around noon. The Kospi closed at 4,949.67, falling below the 5,000 mark for the first time in 4 days. Local stocks came under selling pressure following the nomination of Kevin Warsh as the chair of the Federal Reserve and sharp declines in silver and gold prices. Prime Minister says Seoul and Washington making progress over tariffs. Prime Minister Kim Min-seok said yesterday that South Korea and the United States are making progress on tariff-related issues, thanks in part to the direct phone line he established with U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance last month. Speaking at a New Year's press conference, Kim said that the tariff announcement was President Donald Trump's unique messaging method and not a diplomatic failure of the South Korean administration, as some critics have said. Kim also refuted news reports that the tariff was related to Vance's mention of South Korea's investigation into Kupang, adding that the two countries exchanged opinions to prevent an escalation of the case. Kim Gun-hee appeals 20-month sentence in corruption trial. Former First Lady Kim Gun-hee has appealed the 20-month prison sentence for accepting bribes in the form of a Chanel bag and a Graf necklace in exchange for favors from the Unification Church. The Seoul Central District Court, however, acquitted Kim of charges related to a stock manipulation case and violation of the Political Funds Act. Kim's defense said that they had filed an appeal denying she had ever received the necklace and disputing the court's recognition of the transactional nature of the designer bag. Preliminary candidate registration begins for June 3rd elections. The preliminary candidate registration for the June 3rd local election begins nationwide today for mayoral, gubernatorial, and education superintendent races. Those who register as preliminary candidates with their respective city or provincial election commission offices will be allowed to conduct limited campaign activities. The upcoming local elections are expected to act as a barometer of public opinion for the first year of the Lee Jae-myung administration and the opposition People Power Party's post-martial law activities. U.S. and India reach trade deal after Trump-Modi call. U.S. President Donald Trump announced that he agreed to a trade deal with India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, where the U.S. will lower tariffs on goods from India from 25% to 18%. Trump announced on social media that India will reduce trade barriers to zero and will also stop buying Russian oil. Modi also wrote that he is delighted over the agreement. Additionally, Trump said Modi committed to buying more than $500 billion worth of American goods, including energy, technology, agriculture, and coal products. This was Spotlight News. It's time for a special interview. Lately, in the United States, powerful snowstorms and bitter cold with temperatures plunging to minus 30, even 40 degrees have caused deaths and power outages. While in the southern hemisphere, parts of Australia have been hit by heat waves reaching nearly 50 degrees. Here in South Korea, Seoul has seen 9 mornings this past January with temperatures below minus 10 degrees, which is more than 4 times the number during the same period last year, according to meteorological authorities. These unprecedented extremes seem to be happening across the globe. So today, we're going to explore what is driving these extreme weather events in more detail. Joining us today is Professor Yoon Jin-ho, Director of International Environmental Research Institute and Professor of the Department of Environment and Energy Engineering at Gwangju Institute of Science and Technology, also known as GIST. Hi, welcome to the program, Professor.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, so how unusual is this to see, for example, like I said in the intro, freezing cold weather in the U.S. and then extreme heat in Australia at the same time?
Well, the U.S. and Australia has opposite seasons because in the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. So that's normal in a sense. However, that's what's unusual is the intensity of those extremes. Just you mentioned that the U.S. reached down to minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit, while in Australia hit the 122 degrees Fahrenheit in terms of temperature. So it's okay to have a winter and summer opposite, but then the degree of the intensity is just too much. So that there are still a lot of school districts are closing in the U.S., and there are a lot of people are suffering in Australia right now. So that intensity is quite unusual.
Right. And even here domestically in South Korea, we've been experiencing such a very long, persistent cold wave. So is it just in our minds, or have we really been experiencing this?
During winter time, we had this kind of things once in a while, and this phenomenon is called atmospheric blocking. You can just easily imagine it's like a traffic jams. So winter weather is typically it's like 3 days cold and 3 days warmer. So meaning that any system, any low pressure or high pressure will move along. So that won't stick around Korea. But this blocking is like a traffic jam. So it just to make the traffic go slow or not moving for quite a while. So like this case is almost over a week.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then, somehow we are on the cold snap side of this blocking system, so that we have a continuously cold weathers. And also, even like yesterday, we had the snow in Gwangju. So it can happen But this is, it's been quite a while since we had the last one. So everyone feels it's quite unusual.
I see. Thanks for explaining. And, oftentimes we hear about, like in the news, like a term, jet stream. So what exactly, if you could explain in layman's terms, what is a jet stream and why can jet streams make the winter even colder?
So the jet stream is always there during winter time. So in the about 10 kilometer high up in the atmosphere. So if you go high up, there's always a jet stream. And because of this jet stream, if you notice, when you travel to the US, the flying time is shorter when you're going, but when you're coming back, it takes about 2 hours more.
Right.
That difference is caused by this jet stream. So in the upper layer of the atmosphere, there's a very fast-moving wind, and that wind make the weather system moving. Like as everyone says, 3 days cold, 4 days warm. That is eventually caused by this jet stream. But when the jet stream becomes slower, or it just it moves somewhat strangely than normal, then we are starting to have some strange weather. Well, it's unusual weather, I should say.
Yes.
That like these cold snaps.
Yes, and when we talk about these extreme opposites, where, in the Northern Hemisphere, we gave the example of the U.S., really, really cold right now, Australia, extremely hot. Are these opposite extremes connected, these weather events?
It's at this moment it's very difficult to tell because like a scientist like myself, we have to look at the data and then we have to tell exactly how much they are connected, how unusual it is. That you have to wait a bit more.
Yes.
But the thing is, in general, I can tell that there are more and more extreme weathers. Meaning when you have hot days, it's extremely hot. Or when you have rains, it just pour down crazy.
Right.
When it's drought, even it's a short duration, it just no rain at all. Like Korea, countries like Korea, we have a constant rain once in a while, but when it face the drought, it just doesn't happen. So it's everything is becoming more extreme side of it. That's the kind of a statistical analysis of what we found.
Yes. And in terms of the term climate change, right? Because we don't want to confuse weather with climate change, but does climate change play a role in these, what we might say, like unusual or extreme weather patterns?
So I think it does. Because when I mentioned that the chance to have the extreme events is become higher, and then there are many studies pointing out that the climate change is likely behind those things.
Okay.
But of course, as you mentioned, that it's very difficult to tell that this particular cold snap is caused by climate change. That's a separate matter. That's very difficult to do so, actually. But in general trends, like the more extremes, more hot extremes, more rainy days, that could be caused by the climate change, especially, this winter cold snap is somehow connected to warming. And that's very, unusual, or it's very difficult to understand it. But as we get warmer, the Arctic becomes a lot hotter.
Yes.
And then when those warm Arctics can help to create such a patterns like atmospheric blockings or these cold snaps. So there is some connections, but the connection is relatively loose. So meaning that we really have to have a large amount of data to prove that there is some sort of connection or is changing like that.
I see. And, given what's been happening, what should people keep in mind or do differently during some of these extreme weather events? For example, here in Korea, if we go through like a prolonged cold snap, is there something we should be doing?
Well, the thing is, I know that most people don't pay attention to weather forecasting or weather news at all. But when this comes down to the extremes, people need to pay attention,
right.
And you have to prepare things. Like when it's cold, you have to bring your gloves or hats because that's quite important for health issues.
Yes.
And also, those people who are walking inside, we don't need to worry too much about it. But when people walking outside,
right,
they should have enough break time in between their work times so that they can have enough rest. Or in the hot days, then you have to drink water and those things. It's the first thing is, I know that many people don't want to pay much attention to weather news, but please do so when it becomes to extremes.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and giving us the ins and outs of some of these extreme weather events that we've been witnessing around the globe. Take care. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you very much.
This was Professor Yoon Jin-ho once again, and we talked about some of these snowstorms that have been making the headlines, vice versa on the other side, the bottom half, the southern hemisphere, where they've been seeing extreme heat as well. And so maybe we have a better understanding of why these things do happen. This was our special interview, and I'll be back with your traffic and weather.
Good morning.
Good morning.
굿모닝입니다.
Good morning.
좋은 아침입니다.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Major news, local buzz, and expert takes. It's all here on Morning Wave in Busan. Brighten up your morning commute with Morning Wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
It's time for your updated traffic right now. 2 accidents being reported. First up on Gangbyeon-daero from Gamjeon intersection to the Busan Funeral Center right before the funeral center. Also another one on Jungwang-daero from Oncheon-gyo 3-way intersection to the old Dongbu Terminal intersection right before the intersection there. Congested on Gaya-daero from Daegum to Jure intersection. Also traffic building on Yeonsu-ro from Suyong to Mangmi intersection. Currently, it is -2 here in Busan under clear skies. It's going to go up to 9 today. Busan City is under a special dry weather report. Elsewhere, morning lows real chilly, -10. It's going to get warmer throughout the day, and some areas going all the way up to 10 degrees. Strong gusts of wind on the east coast across Gangwon and Gyeongbuk. This was your traffic and weather. It's time for Wagga Wagga Tea Time. Haley's back.
Hello.
Yes. So let's get waggling about schools. South Korean schools are taking a big step for this upcoming academic year because I kind of thought this was already the rule, but apparently not across the board. No phones in class.
It is official, period, full stop. But as with any new rules or laws, we're going to have a little bit of a transition period, right? There are concerns ahead of the new implementation. So the Education Ministry last month released its pre-administrative notice on students' life guidance.
Okay.
So under the revisions, teachers can give a warning to students and restrict the use of smartphones and other smart devices during the class. Exception, of course, for special needs students who are using the devices as learning assistant tools.
Okay.
And also for educational purposes and, of course, emergencies.
Yes.
And this is a follow-up to the legislation that bans cell phone usage during classes.
So how specific are the rules?
That's a problem, right? All right. Define class. Define educational usage. Is it educational if the teacher says something and I'm looking it up? Yeah, so because teachers differ.
Yes.
Because for me, I'm like, why are you looking up that word on whatever portal site when I'm like literally here, ask me. But then other teachers will be like,
look it
why
up.
are you asking me? Look it up. So it's confusing.
Yes.
So right now, it has the head of the school, aka the principal, come up with the school rules by August 31st.
Oh.
So it'll depend on the school. And until then, if there are confusions, if there are disputes, then the principal has the final say. So this has led to the teachers' associations and unions expressing concerns about confusion on the scene.
Sure.
And most importantly, complaints from the students and parents that, 민원, right?
Yes.
So according to the teachers' union survey from last year, all 153 schools that were surveyed, they do ban phones during classes. But then when it comes to the non-class times, they're actually split, not quite 50-50, but 55-44 on and then point something on cell phone usage.
I was like, that's 99.
The math isn't
Where's
math.
the 1%?
There's
Okay.
decimals, I rounded down, but outside the classroom or outside the class times.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's still kind of, I don't know, gray
Because
area.
during the 10-minute break, are we really going to redistribute the phones and then gather them again?
Exactly.
But then also, it is break time. Should the students have freedom? It is all very, I do not envy the teachers that have to, and the principals that have to go through this.
And the irony is that like schools, the public schools, at least the ones, my kid goes to right now, they gave them or let them borrow like all the students' devices.
Right.
The tablets, right?
Right, the tablets.
Where they
Yeah.
have internet function. So I don't know. Okay, well, speaking of cell phones, this story will have you thinking again before you're pouring, your heart out to the AI chatbots.
Okay.
Leon, are you listening?
Are you listening?
Are you?
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about like the analog days. You
Okay.
have that friend, you talk to her or him or her about your crush. And then you're like, Catherine, you cannot tell anyone, okay? Like,
It's a secret.
It's a secret.
Right.
And then you go and tell my crush, hey, Haley thinks you're cute.
Oh, no.
And then I'm like, oh, I can't say that word. And I almost did. I'm like, girl, what? I trusted you. And
Yes.
then, well, Gemini is that friend.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, or it could be. So social media posts from Gemini users, and Gemini is Google's AI.
Yes.
Claiming that it tried to or actually sent text messages to contacts. And this is in italics, air quotes, without permission.
Oh, no.
So this one case, this individual had a conversation with Gemini based on a hypothetical 가상의 situation, apparently involving illegal entry to China.
Oh.
Of all things.
Okay.
The next morning, this person wakes up and found out that Gemini had sent that file, the illegal entry to China file, to an acquaintance on their contacts list. And of course, things that always happen, and it wasn't even a close friend where you could have like laughed it off. And this was sent during very odd early morning hours.
Okay.
So apparently Gemini, according to this claim, suddenly asked that it would send the declaration and ask for confirmation. And the person was so surprised, and they were like, why would you send that? But the AI just sent it anyways. Yeah. So Android users are sharing similar stories. Again, not verified. They're from online anecdotes.
Okay.
Saying that during a conversation, Gemini allegedly suddenly went out of control and tried to call the National Human Rights Commission. And then this story, when they asked Gemini about advice, about a crush, it tried to send a message directly to that person.
That's so cringe. Can you imagine like 짝사랑이 있는데.
Oh.
And then you're pouring your heart out to, whatever chatbot, and then 갑자기 to that 짝사랑, that the person you're destroying.
I'm like, how do I fight
Cringe.
AI? Like,
I don't
let's
know.
fight, but how do I?
Yes, and how could this be happening?
So currently, Gemini officially supports the ability to send text messages and calls. And this is on Androids. So when a user requests to send a message to a specific contact,
Yes.
hey, text Cat, the system checks whether it'll check with the system before actually sending the message.
Okay.
However, Google says that the users may have selected yes on the confirmation screen without knowing or without recognizing because, it's kind of our second nature. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause you
that
don't
whole
read.
thing. Yeah. So, and that could be to unintended recipients as well. So
Yes.
the industry believes that with the AI agent, right, AI assistant technology, enabling AI to perform real-world actions, this could be the problem that we see more and more.
No.
That, fully know. As for the user, fully know what you're clicking yes to. And, maybe think twice before talking about your boss or someone behind their back.
In theory,
hypothetically,
we don't want to out,
of course, I have multiple bosses. I could be talking about any one of them. And then, of course, for institutions, these companies having technical safeguards to protect users because we want safety features to at least be on similar pace to these technological advancements.
Right. And
I'm so disturbed.
I know, all right, we're going to move on. A restored marble bust in Italy is causing controversy over whom it may or may not resemble. We need an image.
So a bust is a sculpture of the top half of a person or figure. There are claims that an angel in a landmark church in Rome that was recently restored looks like the Italian Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni.
I see the eyes.
It's alive. It's almost as if it's alive. So one local outlet first flagged this, and the picture is on our YouTube. I want
I see the
thoughts on
resemblance.
this.
Yes.
I do. But
The
then it's not
eyes,
like a carbon copy.
No.
But I can also see why people would think that.
Right.
So these are, that is one of the two angels flanking a marble bust of Italy's last king in the landmark church, Basilica of St. Lawrence in Lucina. Now has a familiar, astonishingly contemporary face. So it sparked controversy because Meloni, a politician, far right, some would say far right, but a right-wing politician.
Sure.
So there are political aspects involved. So the culture ministry said technicians have been dispatched to carry out an inspection, an investigation into this.
Okay.
And they've been told to establish the nature of the work that was carried out. And then subsequently, they will decide what kind of action to take.
Well, what did the Prime Minister say?
So she, at least, is currently on a humorous tone. She posted this on social media and said, no, I definitely do not look like an angel, with a laughing emoji. But, of course, opposition parties, they don't find it funny, saying that we cannot allow art and culture to become a tool for propaganda or anything else. And the Diocese of Rome said that its Vicar General has expressed disappointment over what happened and said that he would immediately initiate the necessary investigation. So let's go to the source. The artist himself, apparently over 80 years old, is a veteran in the field. He said, I simply restored the painting or the sculpture to the original state, and refuted reports of him being linked to right-wing politics in the past, and said, I actually haven't voted in ages.
Okay, but very interesting. You, the waivers out there, you make your call. Do they look alike? Do they not? And we're going to turn to our final story, and we're going to end it on a cuddly note, really.
Speaking of the weather,
yes,
it has been so cold, and I feel really cheated because why is it negative in Busan? I'm just like, I was told we wouldn't be. Anyways, winter storms have been raging across the U.S. And it's, of course, been tough on the people. But what about the animals?
Oh,
right. It's been tough on the animals as well, especially the babies. The babies. So a Kentucky family faced a struggle. So one of their cows had given birth outdoors when temperatures were actually well below negative 10 degrees Celsius.
Ooh.
So the human mom and dad, they walked outside and found the mother, the cow, and the calf, the newborn calf, suffering in the cold. So much so that the umbilical cord had frozen solid.
Ooh, that's cold. Yeah.
So they knew how dangerous it would be because they actually just lost another calf. A calf is a baby cow. 송아지 last winter to frostbite. So they actually did the next logical thing. Bring the baby into their home.
Aww.
So the mom took out a blow dryer and then started to warm up the calf.
Okay.
And the calf made herself right at home. So right there on the family's couch with the human children.
Aww.
So there are now viral pictures of the calf just cuddling with the babies. And the family actually says that's actually nothing new to us to bring an animal indoors when it's necessary.
Yes. Well, thank you for ending it on this very warm, cuddly note. And we'll check in with you tomorrow. So thank you, Haley.
Have a great day.
All right. We are due for another song break. So here it is. This is Everything by Michael Bublé.
You're a falling star. You're the getaway car. You're the line in the sand when I go too far. You're the swimming pool on an August day, and you're the perfect thing to say. And you play it cold, but it's kinda cute. Oh, when you smile at me, you know exactly what you do. Baby, don't pretend that you don't know it's true, 'cause you can see it when I look at you. And in this crazy life, and through these crazy times, it's you. You make me sing your every line, your every word, your everything. You're a carousel, you're a wishing well, and you light me up when you ring my bell. You're a mystery, you're from outer space. You're every minute of my everyday. And I can't believe that I'm your man, and I get to kiss you, baby, just because I can. Whatever comes our way, I will see it through. And you know that's what our love can do. And in this crazy life, and through these crazy times, it's you. You make me sing your every line, your every word, your everything. Every line, your every word, your everything, your every song, and I sing along, 'cause you're my everything. Yeah, yeah. So love.
Welcome back, everybody. I am wondering if I am using like the wrong conversion scale, because I'm looking at some of your messages. And like, for example, Leah Nim says for the text topic, in terms of the ideal size of your dream home, she writes 40 to 45 square meters. So I'm trying to see if my conversion is incorrect. So square meters to, let's say, 평 is what we traditionally use in Korea. I know, like, 제곱미터는 지금 that's supposedly the metrics. So 1 square meter is 0.3평, right? So if I do the math and the conversion, okay, so yeah, my calculator was incorrect. So 40 square meters is 12평. So that's like the size of a good, like in Korea we call it one room, or or like a studio apartment, right? So I see. Yeah, if I live by myself, I wouldn't mind a small, cozy place as well, or maybe one other, roommate. That would be great. Benny says 50 square meters for himself. 고수 says 저는 36평. 그런데 지금 집도 청소를 제대로 못하는 것 같아서 너무 넓어도 부담스럽네요. So he's looking at more of 36평. So in square meters, that would be like 120 square meters. But he says the house he has now, even like, because, he has, his wife and his cute little girlfriend, aka his little girl, his daughter, that not a lot of cleaning gets done. So, that's kind of the common thread I'm seeing. People might want bigger homes, but then on the flip side, people are wondering, who's going to clean it? Are you going to clean it? Are you going to hire somebody to do it? So I love Leslie's answer, though, because she's so specific. Leslie says the bigger the house, the more it costs to cool and heat. And for her ideal home, she says it's hard to put a number on square feet because it really depends on the layout of the house, which is true. And she says you can have a huge house with limited space, but she prefers an open concept, lots of natural light, wood floors, tons of bookshelves, a solarium for plants, and a couple of acres of land with lots of wildlife. So specific. I can kind of picture it in my head. And it sounds so nice. Like, I would love to come visit you in your dream home. That would be really, really nice. So thank you for chiming in. And let's get to Bonnie and Simply Sustainable. It is time for Simply Sustainable. Bonnie's here. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Did you hear a text topic?
Yes.
So what do you think?
Well, I'm not really great with calculations and exact numbers, but I do know I really just want a yard.
A yard, yeah.
And maybe like rooms-wise, nothing like 3 bedrooms, just enough to house guests if they come. But I'm with you on like too many rooms means more cleaning. So, just a nice 3, maybe 4 at the most. And really, really big houses are scary to me. They get like at nighttime, it's just too quiet and too big. If you can't find something, I can't find something now, and I only live in a 1-bedroom. So if I had to search through 4 different bedrooms, I think I would waste a lot of time.
I see. Well, thank you. Nice and cozy. Does it for Bonnie.
Yes, and a yard.
Yes, but the yard is important.
Yes, that's a must.
Okay. Well, what are we going to talk about today?
Okay, well, I'm going to ask you actually to start off with today. Do you like candles or do you burn candles at home?
I do. I like them. And we're getting a heavy nod from our producer as well.
Well, then this episode is for you, for all the candle lovers out there, because, of course, there is a more sustainable way to use or pick out our candles.
Really?
Yes, because this might surprise you, but plastic is actually hiding somewhere in our candles in our homes.
Really?
Yes.
For real? Okay.
Of course, I had to bring the news to you.
Okay.
And let you know how to get that plastic out. So candles can be made from many different kinds of materials, but I'm going to go through all of them and we're going to decide which one we think is the most sustainable to have in our home.
Sure.
So I'm going to start off with our paraffin wax, which is by far the most common. So most of the candles that you see in malls, shopping departments, even the online retailers are made out of this. And this wax gives you the most slow and consistent burn, which makes it a great material for mass distribution, for the masses of people. But this is actually the worst for the environment.
It is?
Yes. So anything, paraffin wax is the one that you actually want to avoid. But this is difficult because it is the most commonly used.
And not just for candles, though. Like, if you've ever got your nails done, and then I'm sure some of you out there may have, had your hand dipped in the paraffin, the wax. And then afterwards you're like, oh, my hands feel like, a baby's bottom. So soft.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's in a lot of cosmetics as well. Okay. So it is used in a lot of things. But what is it made out of?
Yeah, what is it?
Petroleum.
That petroleum?
Yes, and petroleum is crude oil. Which is a non-renewable resource, which if you listen, Simply Sustainable 101, what is non-renewable? Meaning we don't have an infinite amount of it. We only have a finite amount. We only have a certain amount of this on the planet. So it's a precious resource. We don't want to just keep on using it.
Yes.
And it's also not the best for our health. So petroleum, again, paraffin wax is made out of petroleum, crude oil, and it requires intensive machinery to extract it from the earth and then also to refine confine it into the wax that we have to use today.
Yes.
So the burn of it also, because it is technically oil/plastic,
right?
When you burn it, it's the least clean as well. So think about if you're burning a candle inside your home, it's a confined space. You know, usually, I'm sure nowadays you don't have the windows open.
No.
We're not getting a lot of airflow in. So it's not a health risk. Like the Candle Association has said that there's no like known scientific research that says having a candle in your home is going to be really, really bad for your health. But it's just something to be mindful of. As far as other materials that you burn, the paraffin wax is going to be the least healthy to have in your home. A lot of carbon dioxide will be released. So just so you know. So that's the paraffin wax, the most common one. Now, next, we're going to go on to beeswax candles.
Beeswax?
Yeah. Have you ever used one or seen them?
You know, now I'm like trying to think, like in my mind, I'm thinking I only use the commercial. Like, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to know actually where a lot of you guys get your candles, because I know most people actually do buy them from like a department store.
Right.
Or,
You're gifted
candles, because we love the scent of the candle. Like, that's probably why we burn them, because we love the beautiful scent and we love those holiday, you know, like the pumpkin spice, or nowadays they're like cozy home scent, or you know, they have all these very obscure names.
What is a cozy home scent?
I think one of my favorites used to be like fresh linen.
Oh, yeah, that
like,
I can.
I don't know exactly what the fresh linen exact scent is, but it smells really good. But you know, we are getting a lot of our candles from those kind of mass distributors.
Yes.
So we're not seeing these like beeswax candles on the market as much, but they do exist. They are out there. You just have to search for them a little bit more.
Sure.
And let's talk about what beeswax candles are made out of. Obviously, beeswax, which is a natural product found in nature. So this is a renewable resource, meaning we can get more beeswax as long as we have bees. We can have kind of an endless amount of this. So we don't have to extract it from the earth using some really crazy complicated process.
Okay.
It's just from the bees.
Sure.
So there are no chemicals in them, and there's no chemicals used in the process of harvesting the materials or making these candles. So this makes this a great natural option.
Okay.
It's biodegradable, it's organic, and some say even when it's burned, it actually releases ions that clean the air instead of polluting it.
Wow. So it's actually doing a positive.
Yeah, lots of positives. But of course, everything is not without the downside.
Okay.
The downside of beeswax is it's an essential part of bees' livelihood. So we're kind of taking something away from the bees, and it houses, what beeswax does is it houses and preserves the honey that bees need. And honey is kind of basically the bees' food. So they store it in this beeswax so they can use it during the winter months when they're the most vulnerable.
Sure.
So if we take too much of that honey or too much of that beeswax away from them, then that makes them a little bit more vulnerable in the winter seasons. And of course, we don't want to hurt the bees because they're such an essential part of our ecosystem.
Sure.
So what can we do?
Yes.
Well, because beeswax sounds really good, right? It sounds like a great option. Well, what you can do is try to find beeswax from a local supplier instead of a commercial beekeeper.
Right.
And commercial beekeepers might be acting in the best interest of their profits and not so much the bees. So that's why you want to maybe search and see if you can find a local beekeeper, a local supplier that isn't this big corporate system.
Yes.
So like I said, this can take some time to research, but they definitely do exist. And by far, I think this might be the best natural option that you can find.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
I don't know if you're going to discuss it or you plan to, but what about for people, like a producer, she says she uses those candle warmer kind of lamp devices, the ones you plug in.
Much better as far as what they emit into
Right.
the air, much better because you're not burning anything.
Yes.
So it's just the essential oil or whatever the
in there?
material is in there. It's not going to be as harmful at all.
Oh, okay.
So the candle warmers are a great option, definitely.
Okay. So we went through paraffin wax, beeswax, and then now what kind of wax are we
Okay,
talking
so
about?
now these ones might be a little less common, but they do exist out there. So if you have a candle made out of microcrystalline wax, this is a common substitute for paraffin wax.
Okay.
So same thing, made out of petroleum, not sustainable. Another fun kind, and I used to see this a lot when I was younger, but I don't really see them as often, are those gel wax candles. You might recognize them because they're a little bit see-through. They kind of almost look like some jelly material, and they come in all different kinds of colors. So anything like they're bright pinks and blues.
Right.
And sometimes because they're gel and they're kind of see-through, people like to put little things inside of them.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like gel, or gems, or shells, or like little beads and things. So they make them fun, festive, lots of different colors.
Right.
But this is also made from petroleum-based byproducts.
Okay.
So also on the sustainability list, it's a thumbs down for me.
Yes.
So those two, microcrystalline wax, gel wax, both of those also petroleum-based, not sustainable. Now, the last material I'm going to go over is soy wax candle.
I've never heard of this.
Really?
Soy wax candles. Okay.
Now, this one is a little bit tricky because it is a natural product because it's made from soybeans.
Okay.
So it's biodegradable and it's a renewable resource. So we're not taking a valuable resource from nature. It's coming from soybeans, which we can continuously farm, continuously harvest. So as long as we have soybeans, we have soy wax.
Got it.
Because it's basically taking the oil from the soybean and then they hydrogenate it and create like a solid, and that's used for the candle making process. So you might be asking, what could be the downsides of that? Right? Because this is such a natural ingredient. Well, the expansion of soybean farming has been a major contributor to deforestation.
The bigger picture.
Yes, and it's particularly to sensitive areas such as the Amazon rainforest. So we don't want to be contributing to the dying of the Amazon rainforest, of course, right? So a lot of these soybeans that are grown globally are also genetically modified, and they involve a heavy use of pesticides and herbicides. So these, of course, are super bad for the environment.
Yes.
They also kill the nutrients in the soil, but also the herbicides and pesticides, when they're being used, the wind, they're sprayed on the crops, of course, and then the wind kind of carries it over. So the neighboring people that live in those communities where these crops are being harvested, they're also being harmed too. So not great for the environment, but also not great for our health either. So aside from all the pesticides, the equipment used to clear the land for soybeans and the machinery and the processing, there's a lot of greenhouse gases that are emitted through this whole process.
Yes.
So those contribute to climate change, which of course is a negative.
So we went through all the
a lot
facts.
to food for thought. Yes,
a lot of information about each type of candle that you might find out there, and maybe look at the candles that you have in your home and determine which ones you have. But now there has to be something that we gain or glean from this, right? So what might that
I would
be?
say for me, what out of all of those, what would you choose? Okay, beeswax, I think, is the most sustainable.
Okay.
If you can, try to get it from a local sustainable farmer. But then also, you're thinking candles. You know how you get a candle and then after you burn it, what do you do with it? Most people.
Don't they toss them?
Yeah, you probably just throw it away, right? Because at the end of it, what are you supposed to do with it?
Right.
Well, nowadays they have these awesome candle refills. So I brought one. This is actually a beeswax candle, and it's just the refill. So you can buy these without the container, and then you can just put this back into the same candle container, or get creative with it. So you can buy, go to the thrift store, get some cool jars, or even maybe if you have leftover jars at home, a jam jar, whatever you have, and just use this as an upcycling product. So you don't have to waste the container again and again and again.
Okay.
Really awesome. And then another caveat to this, how are we lighting these candles?
There's this particular way we should be lighting them.
Well, most of you guys are probably using a lighter, I'm sure. But most of those lighters that you use, are they plastic? Are they reusable? Are you throwing them away after each use? Maybe, probably. So, of course, I'm here to let you know that there's a more sustainable way to do that as well. Have you ever seen a rechargeable lighter? For those that are on YouTube, you can kind of see it on your screen.
Now I do.
Yes, regular lighters, like I said, use plastic, and they're actually one of the things that I find the most on a beach cleanup. Because I think a lot of people light cigarettes by the beach. You're not supposed to, naughty you. But if you are, they end up finding their way to the outdoors, the wildlife. So very toxic, very bad for the environment and for people, because your kids are playing, your dogs are playing in the sand. Lighters are not what you want to be finding. So this is a rechargeable lighter, and you can just plug it in it has like a little USB cord to it, and I'm actually gonna show you. Just flip it on, and you press this button, and it has, if you can like hear it, I don't know if you can hear it in the microphone, but it has like this little charge in the middle, and so you just put it near the wick, and
there you have it. We have light.
Yes.
Fire.
So I don't want to get in trouble in here.
But
this is really cool because you can recharge it. You can use it over and over and over again. I've had the same one for 5 years.
Okay.
And it works great. I don't have to worry about disposing of it properly.
Yes.
And it's kind of cute, right?
I like the rechargeable lighter.
Yes, and then something else you probably light your candles with are matches. But of course, what are matches made from? Trees, which is a non-renewable resource. We want to save all the trees, right?
Right.
So I have found a local zero waste store has these matches, and these matches are made from byproduct of sugar cane. So 0 trees have been cut down in making these matches, and this particular company actually plants a tree for every 20 to 25 matchboxes sold.
Wow.
So you can actually find companies out there that are doing their part, that are trying to, make these products, but not have that carbon footprint.
Yes.
So, and I think they're really cute too. So if you go to a zero waste store, or if you search online, I'm sure you can find these, trying to find matches that are sustainable.
They look like cotton swabs, kind of. But they're not.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
They're just regular matches.
Okay.
But from what they're made out of is so different, right? So we're not cutting down anything new. So the takeaway, everybody.
What's the takeaway?
Yes. So candles. Like I'm trying to bring you guys always, we don't think that plastic is in our lives in certain things, but it's always hiding in our everyday lives.
Sure.
And so if you are a candle user, candle lover, trying to stay away from that paraffin wax, and let's try to go to beeswax or soy candles. You can find them out there. And then also these rechargeable lighters make a great gift for someone. Go with these.
Yes. So absolutely, we learned so much today. I mean, who would have thought, it's simply sustainable, but it's all about candles. And that rechargeable lighter, I love.
Yeah, it's those little steps, right? Not about being perfect, just about being better.
All right. Thank you, Bonnie.
Thank you.
And it is time to wrap up our Tuesday morning already. So wishing you nothing but warmth and just a lot of happiness today. We're going to end it with this one, 촛불 하나 by G.O.D. Have a good one. Bye, everybody.
우리들보다 가지지 못한 어려운 친구들이 많습니다. 지금도 힘들어하고 있을 그 친구들을 위해 이 노래를 부릅니다. 힘내라 얘들아.
왜 이렇게 사는 게 힘들기만 한지 누가 인생이 아름답다고 말한 건지 태어났을 때부터 삶이 내게 준 건 끝없이 이겨내야 했던 고난들 뿐인 걸 그럴 때마다 나는 거울 속에 나에게 물어봤지 뭘 잘못했지 도대체 내가 뭘 잘못했길래 내게만 이래 달라질 것 같지 않아 내일 또 모레
하지만 그러면 안돼 주저앉으면 안돼 세상이 주는 대로 그저 주어진 대로 이렇게 불공평한 세상이 주는 대로 그저 받기만 하면 모든 것은 그대로 싸울 텐가 포기할 텐가 주어진 운명에 굴복하고 마찬가 세상 앞에 고개 숙이지 마라 기죽지 마라 그리고 우릴 봐라 쉬고 힘들 땐 내게 기대 언제나 네 곁에 서 있을게 혼자라는 생각이 들지 않게 내가 너의 손 잡아줄게
너무 어두워 길이 보이지 않아 내게 있는 건 성냥 하나와 촛불 하나 이 작은 촛불 하나 가지고 뭐 하나 촛불 하나 끈다고 어둠이 다른 하나 저 멀리 보이는 화려한 불빛 어둠 속에서 발버둥치는 나 이 몸짓 불빛이 향해서 저 빛이 향해서 날고 싶어도 날 수 없는 나의 그 짓
하지만 그렇지 않나 작은 촛불 하나 켜보면 달라지는 게 너무나도 많아 아무것도 없다고 믿었던 내 주위에 또 다른 초 하나가 놓여져 있었기에 불을 밝히는 촛불이 두 개가 되고 그 불빛으로 다른 초를 쫓아고 세 개가 되고 네 개가 되고 어둠은 사라져가고 쉬고 힘들 땐 내게 기대 언제나 네 곁에 서 있을게 혼자라는 생각이 들지 않게 내가 너의 손 잡아줄게
기억하니 아낌없이 마침내 우리는 해냈어 그것만은 나의 어른적 얘기였어 사실이었어 참 힘들었어 하지만 거기서 난 포기하지 않았어 꿈을 잃지 않고 용기를 잃지 않고 계속 노력하다 보니 결국 여기까지 왔고 이제 너들에게 말을 해주고 싶어 너도 할 수 있어